You won't believe what I made from broken chairs, drawers, and lamp frames. Not from the store, just leftovers and junk. I didn't expect it to look this good, but it worked. And now, I'm going to show you how I turned these discarded Wayfair pieces into a dreamy rustic garden makeover. Perfect for any small yard, patio, or backyard corner. Welcome to Arkan Aesthetic Studio, a space where trash becomes treasure and small spaces turn into magical escapes. In this video, we explore upcycled Wayfair junk to dreamy rustic garden edging, DIY ideas for small yards and patios. There are 12 unique ideas waiting for you. Timestamps are available, so skip to what you need. And if anything's unclear, just drop a comment. I read every single one. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this content, there's a real story and a real family. This isn't just a video. It's a piece of my heart. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, it truly matters. When you hit that subscribe button, you're not just helping a creator grow. You're helping a dream stay alive. You're giving a small family hope, one click at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. One, rustic wooden drawer garden borders. There's something quietly poetic about giving forgotten things a second chance. In the heart of a small patio, once ordinary drawers, perhaps from an old Wayfair cabinet, now long discarded, begin a new life. No longer hidden behind doors or filled with clutter, they've been transformed into charming garden borders. Each drawer cradles life now. Deep green basil, feathery parsley, and upright rosemary bask in the morning light. Their scents mingle in the air as bees hum lazily nearby. The warmth of the wood, with its gentle curves and aged handles, contrasts beautifully with the crisp stone beneath. It feels intentional, but not forced. Practical, yet poetic. Like a quiet conversation between the past and present. Move just a few steps along the garden's edge, and you'll find drawers that wear their age proudly. The paint peels like old parchment, soft blues and creams whispering tales of another decade. Flowers burst joyfully from their rustic frames. Pansies, snapdragons, creeping thyme, colors so vivid they seem to glow. There's a bamboo fence behind, and if you look closely, you'll see droplets of water still clinging to the petals, remnants of a gentle morning rain. Nearby, a set of garden tools lie casually in the soil, as if inviting you to join in. And further still, a longer border unfolds along a path. A line of drawers, uniform yet expressive, guide your eyes through marigolds and lavender. Ivy spills gently over the edge, catching the breeze like tendrils reaching out. It's not just a border, it's a frame for the rest of the garden, adding depth and soul to the space. This is not just about gardening. It's about slowing down. It's about reclaiming materials, wood that once served a different purpose, and inviting them to be beautiful again. It's a reminder that style doesn't always require spending, and charm can often be found in the overlooked. This kind of DIY isn't just practical, it's personal. and deeply fulfilling. If you've ever passed by an old drawer on the curb or wondered what to do with furniture too worn to use but too lovely to toss, this is your sign. The only tools you need are imagination, a bit of soil, and the patience to let beauty grow. And remember, imperfection is where the magic lives. Two, DIY garden fence from broken chairs and bed frames. Sometimes, the most magical things begin with pieces we almost gave up on. A rusted bed frame, chipped and bent at the corners. A lonely chair with missing slats and worn paint. They sit, forgotten in a garage corner or offered for free on the roadside, waiting. But in a gardener's hands, they are not waste. They are poetry. They are structure. They are art. In one small garden corner, surrounded by lavender and blushing roses, someone saw the charm in these cast-offs. With rope, rust, and a bit of love, they built a fence. It doesn't guard like a fortress. It embraces like a memory. The curves of Victorian ironwork cradle space, not just flowers. Paired with two weathered white chairs, the whole scene whispers stories from another time. You can almost imagine someone sitting here with tea, listening to bees and breathing in the scent of summer. Elsewhere, along a gravel path bathed in soft golden light, chairs climb the fence like sculptures in motion. Morning glories twist upward, wrapping themselves around iron bars and wooden spindles as if they've always belonged there. The path is quiet, only the sound of footsteps over stone and the gentle rustle of vines as they stretch skyward. And then, in full afternoon light, a burst of joy. A garden fence painted in pastel shades of mint, cream, and lavender. It's a patchwork of chair backs, gate doors, and headboards, no two pieces alike, but all working together. Dahlias bloom proudly beside it, their colors echoed in the soft tones of the wood. It's whimsical, functional, and strangely profound. These fences don't just mark the boundaries of a garden. They celebrate imperfection. They showcase reuse as beauty. And perhaps most importantly, they remind us that nothing, not even broken chairs, is truly broken when placed in the right hands with the right vision. So here's a gentle tip. When you're thinking of a new fence or a new project for your tiny yard or flower bed, look not to the store, but to what's already around you. An old bed frame, a cracked chair, a gate that's seen better days. What you need is not perfection, but imagination. And in that space, between broken and beautiful, something truly special can grow. Three, tiny pergola from upcycled table legs, rustic style. Sometimes, the smallest spaces carry the grandest dreams. Here, in the hush of a backyard path, a pergola rises, not with grandeur, but with quiet elegance. Its legs were once table legs, carved with care in another lifetime. Salvaged, sanded, and reimagined, they now stand tall, holding beams of reclaimed wood above a trail of uneven stepping stones. Above, wisteria spills from the sky in lavender clusters, like nature's chandelier. The garden breathes gently around it. Hydrangeas swell with color, grasses whisper with the wind. Every detail feels deliberate, yet completely unforced. This isn't just structure, it's sanctuary. In another corner, where vines thicken and shade lingers longer, grape clusters dangle from twisting arms of green. The pergola there is more intimate. Beneath its canopy, a vintage table waits, 2 cups set, a lantern resting between them. This is the kind of space that slows time. The kind of place where you let the tea go cold while listening to the leaves. And then, at golden hour, you'll find perhaps the most romantic of them all. A soft white pergola, its columns etched with stories told through peeling paint and delicate carvings. Climbing roses reach toward the sun, weaving through the frame like memories finding their way home. A bench sits below, dressed in floral cushions, an invitation to pause, to reflect, or simply to be. What's remarkable is not just the charm of these tiny pergolas, but how they came to be. From discarded furniture and overlooked materials, a second life emerged. These aren't just DIYs. They're poems in wood and bloom. If you're looking for something to build, not just with your hands, but with your heart, start here. A few old table legs, a bit of wood, a pocket of garden, and a vision. That's all it takes. And perhaps, as the seasons change and the flowers fade, what remains isn't the pergola itself, but the way it made you feel every time you passed beneath it. Sheltered, inspired, home. Four old bamboo chairs into Japanese garden touch. In a world that moves too fast, the Japanese garden reminds us to breathe. Among the stones and still water, balance lives. Silence speaks. And even the old and forgotten, like a cracked bamboo chair, can find a new purpose. In one serene corner, a bamboo chair, once used and worn, becomes a graceful trellis. Delicate clematis climbs its frame, threading through each spindle as if drawn by memory. Nearby, a shushurodoshi, the classic bamboo water fountain, spills in slow rhythm into a stone basin. The trickling sound is soft, almost like a whisper of time itself. This isn't just garden decor. This is a moment captured in wood, water, and bloom. A few steps away, the gravel has been gently raked into circles and waves, surrounding a small maple ablaze with red. Old bamboo chair backs and broken legs have been shaped into a low, curving fence. They don't try to control the space, only guide it. The fence leads to a stone lantern, standing patiently among the patterns in the sand. And as you walk, the bamboo casts shadows that dance lightly in the wind. Closer to the home, a pair of repurposed bamboo chairs frame a koi pond like silent guardians. One holds a lantern, the other, a potted herb. The chairs are weathered, their edges softened by sun and rain. But here, surrounded by mossy stones, bonsai trees, and the shimmer of moving water, they become poetry. Fallen petals from a nearby cherry tree dot the gravel. The air is still. The peace is real. This is the beauty of upcycling in a Japanese garden. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is too broken. The elegance lies in restraint, in choosing less and making it mean more. So if you ever come across an old bamboo chair, don't toss it. Don't walk past it. See it as the Japanese do, as a vessel of wabi-sabi, as something that has aged with dignity and still has more to give. Because in a garden like this, the smallest, simplest piece can become the most powerful reminder. That calm is always waiting for us, just beyond the noise. Five, upcycled patio seascape decor from junk wood. There's a unique kind of peace that only the sea can bring. Even if we don't live by the ocean, we can still carry its rhythm into our space, quietly, beautifully, with things others may have thrown away. In a small patio corner, where late sunlight kisses the walls and shadows dance across bamboo screens, scraps of wood find new meaning. An old pallet, chipped boards, broken bits of Wayfair furniture, all now shaped into a whimsical mobile of fish, shells, and sea glass, gently swaying in the breeze. It doesn't try to be perfect, it simply is. And that's what makes it feel so effortless, so inviting. The turquoise bench beside it, worn and weathered, adds just enough coastal charm to make you think of salt in the air and sand between your toes. A few steps away, a reclaimed wood mural spans the patio wall. This time, the pieces tell a story. Cliffs rise on either side, ocean waves roll in the center, and seagulls lift into the sky. Every slat and crack and flake of paint adds authenticity. The beauty isn't in clean lines, it's in the imperfections. Below the scene, see lavender and grasses sway in the wind, their movement echoing the energy of waves. If you listen closely, the hush of wind through these plants almost sounds like surf. On another wall, soft pastels bring childhood nostalgia. A lighthouse and a sailboat, carved from old slats, floating on wooden waves of mint and ocean blue. Beneath, smooth pebbles and tiny succulents complete the look, simple, tactile, unforgettable. You don't need a vast deck or designer decor. You only need the willingness to imagine. This is what coastal decor can be, not bought, but built. Not expensive, but expressive. A reflection of the sea, told through the story of reclaimed materials. And more than that, an invitation to slow down, to get your hands dusty, to turn what's broken into beauty. Because sometimes, the best things come not from what we find, but from how we choose to see. Six, small garden edging with vintage window frames. Old windows carry stories. They once framed sunrises and seasons. Faces looking out. Light pouring in. Now, their panes are fogged. Their paint is chipped. Their hinges rusted. But that doesn't mean their story is over. It just means it's ready to be rewritten. In a tiny garden kissed by sun, old window frames rise again. Not in walls, but in soil. They line the edge of a bed where tulips, lavender, and daisies bloom freely. Arranged in zigzags and rows, these windows no longer look out. They hold in. They cradle color. They define space with grace, not dominance. The glass that remains reflects clouds and petals. And when the breeze moves, shadows shift across their panes like memories dancing one more time. In another backyard space, a few of these frames lie gently on the ground. Like wooden outlines, they shape square beds of herbs and flowers, marigolds bursting beside the silver of lavender stems. Ivy curls at their edges, beginning to claim the corners, blending the line between nature and man-made. It's a dialogue, not a division. These frames don't fight the garden, they join it. And down a narrow path, where cosmos stretch toward the sun and leafy greens cluster beneath, more windows lean against the garden's edge. Some filled with chicken wire, others bare. One holds a tiny hanging pot of succulents, gently swaying in the warm light. It's not precise, it's not symmetrical, but that's what makes it human. That's what makes it alive. This isn't just about decoration, it's about perspective. Window frames, once meant to hold in a view, are now opening the door to creativity. They invite the past into the present. They remind us that beauty doesn't need to be new, only noticed. So if you ever find an old window tossed to the side, don't turn away. See it for what it could become. A fence, a border, a frame not for glass, but for growth. Because every garden tells a story, and sometimes it begins with what we almost left behind. Seven, DIY farmhouse planter using Wayfair cabinet doors. Sometimes, beauty begins in the most unexpected places, behind old cabinet doors, worn with time, waiting for a second life. In this quaint garden nook, what once held dishes and forgotten kitchenware now holds something much more alive. Reclaimed Wayfair cabinet doors, painted soft white and sanded just enough to reveal their age, have been reimagined into a raised planter box. Delicate molding still lines each panel, and vintage drawer handles remain as quiet storytellers. But instead of storing utensils, these doors now cradle summer. Blooms of petunia and geranium dance in the breeze. Trailing ivy spills over like lace at the edge of a dress. Beneath it, a burlap rug softens the stone patio, grounding this rustic vignette in quiet elegance. And just a few steps away, the idea continues vertically. Here, two cabinet doors, painted sage green, edges kissed with distress, are fastened to a garden fence. Shelves span between them, holding terracotta pots of basil, mint, oregano. Their leaves stretch toward morning sun, and the scent of herbs lingers in the air. It's a simple design, but deeply thoughtful, turning vertical space into a living pantry. It whispers, "Grow where you can." Then, at the corner of a tiny backyard, something more structured, an L-shaped raised garden bed, framed again in old cabinet doors. This time, the wood is left raw and natural, its grain rich with character. The box is sturdy, grounded, and full of life. Romaine and red leaf lettuce, deep green kale, and plump cherry tomatoes. Above it, simple wooden trellises guide the vines upward. Tools lean casually against the side, a rake, a spade, suggesting not perfection, but participation. This isn't a display, it's an invitation. And that's the soul of these DIY ideas. They aren't just clever, they're comforting. They remind us that gardening isn't about extravagance. It's about use, care, intention. It's about rescuing materials with history and giving them new meaning. It's about opening cabinet doors not to what was, but to what can grow now. So the next time you see an old kitchen door leaning by the curb, don't walk past it. See the planter, feel the herbs, taste the tomatoes, and imagine what else your hands can create. Eight, cute tiny yard fence with thrift shutters. Sometimes, the sweetest garden borders aren't made of brick or stone, but of memories and mismatched shutters, reborn with color and charm. In the quiet space between two fences, a whimsical row of thrift shutters stands like a parade of personalities. Mint greens, faded teals, butter yellows, and soft whites. They lean together like old friends, weathered yet proud, each one telling a different story of where it once belonged. A beach cottage, a city balcony, perhaps a farmhouse long forgotten. Now, they've found a new rhythm, keeping watch over a joyful garden where sunflowers stretch to the sky, daisies nod in the breeze, and hollyhocks climb as if whispering secrets to the clouds. This project is more than clever decor. It's an ode to creative spirit. By salvaging discarded shutters from thrift shops and flea markets, you're not only reducing waste, you're bringing soulful character to your garden. Arrange them playfully, alternate heights, tilt a few, let the imperfections show. That's where the magic happens. Add a soft touch of practicality by attaching hanging pots of cheerful pansies or trailing succulents to the slats. A simple S-hook is all it takes. You'll create vertical interest and instant color at eye level. Best of all, this project is kind to small yards. It makes use of vertical lines and narrow space while feeling delightfully lush and inviting. In another corner, shutters with chipping white paint lean gently behind a bed of blooming zinnias and clusters of sweet alyssum. A few climbing roses wander upward, their stems curling through the louvers like nature reclaiming its place. It's the perfect backdrop, not too bold, not too plain, and always infused with softness. And when the golden light of late afternoon streams through, casting long leafy shadows on the shutters, the whole fence feels like a stage for wildflowers and warmth. A gentle, earthy rhythm hums here, the kind only a handmade garden can offer. So if your side yard feels narrow, or your patio wall a little plain, think like a dreamer with a toolkit. Reclaim, repaint, rearrange. Your fence doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel like home. And that's the beauty of it. When you build with what others throw away, you plant more than flowers, you plant stories. Nine, gazebo decor using leftover Wayfair lamp frames. In the heart of a humble backyard, where the air hums softly with the promise of twilight, stands a gazebo, once plain, now poetry. What makes it so enchanting isn't its shape, but the transformation it carries. Because here, old Wayfair lamp frames no longer light rooms. They cradle light in a new form, suspended in a waltz between nature and nostalgia. From the rafters hang weathered cages of metal and wire, some gently holding candles, others trailing with fairy lights like trapped stardust. Some frames cradle air plants like emerald feathers, weightless yet full of life. At golden hour, when the sun leans low and generous, these creations glow, not with electricity, but with the soulful shimmer of intention. Don't rush past this space. Sit a while. Notice how the soft rust on bronze sings in harmony with the patina of age. Feel the sway of ornamental grasses brushing the sides of the structure, their feathery plumes dancing to a breeze that feels older than memory. This isn't just decor, it's a rhythm, a pulse, a place to breathe. The magic here lies not in money spent, but meaning found. Old chandeliers become quiet guardians of garden dinners, now housing mason jars with flickering lights and climbing vines. Industrial wind chimes, once part of forgotten ceiling fixtures, now make music with the wind, echoing the charm of soft clinks and rustling leaves. If you're wondering, could I do this? The answer is gently, yes. All you need is a gaze soft enough to see beauty in the broken, and hands willing to repurpose what others leave behind. An unused lamp frame becomes a vessel of ambience. A broken sconce, once mounted on a wall, becomes the cradle of a tea light. A rusted pendant light? It's now the centerpiece of a hanging garden of hope. And what's perhaps most beautiful of all, these pieces weren't designed to go together. But just like the parts of a life well lived, they now hang in harmony, telling a story that's imperfect, handmade, and absolutely unforgettable. bamboo and trash combo for eco-garden borders. In a quiet corner of the earth where soil still listens and sunlight whispers through leaves, something wonderful has been stitched together, not by machines or money, but by hands that care and a heart that sees beauty in the discarded. Look closely. Where others saw trash, this gardener saw a palette. Strips of bamboo, gently aged by time and lashed together with rope, form a rhythmic fence, upright, honest, and earthy. Beside them, pastel-painted tin cans, once empty relics of someone's kitchen shelf, now cradle tiny pockets of life. Marigolds rise like painted flames, and basil spills like emerald lace, adding scent to the story. And there, further along the path, bottles, thick with color and memory, stand proud like stained glass turned upside down. Blue, green, amber. Their bottoms catch the sun and cast a kaleidoscope of light on the soil beneath. Between each bamboo stalk, these glass sentinels whisper tales of evenings past. Wine uncorked, stories told, and now, a second life in soil. At the heart of it all, the fence is no longer a barrier. It's a canvas. You don't need a large space, just a soft eye for potential, a little time, and the courage to begin. Gather what others overlook, the bamboo stakes leaning in a shed corner, the soda bottles from your recycling bin, the old cans that once held tomatoes. Let them live again. Paint them. Don't paint them. Let them wear the weather proudly. Drill, lash, plant, and laugh when it doesn't go perfectly. Because perfection was never the goal. Peace was. A garden like this doesn't shout. It hums. And when you walk past it, with bare feet brushing the clover and bees dancing near the lavender, you'll hear it too. Not just a DIY project, but a quiet revolution in the art of living gently. Landscape edging from junk mirrors and metal frames. Sometimes, the most enchanting gardens don't begin with seeds, but with forgotten fragments of yesterday. Broken mirrors, rusted window panes, and ornate iron frames, once cast aside, now shimmer anew beneath the morning sun, reshaped into poetic borders that dance with light and memory. In the first garden, an old industrial mirror, its metal frame kissed by time and rust, lays gently among kale and nasturtiums. The panels catch the sky like a still pond, holding its reflection as a quiet offering to the earth. This unexpected use of horizontal mirrors blurs the line between soil and sky, reminding us that in the garden, everything reflects growth, quite literally. To try this yourself, seek old storm windows or mirrored cabinet doors. A coat of protective sealant is all it takes to begin their second life. Move a little further, and you'll find a narrow garden bed flanked by elegant rusted frames, their floral ironwork creating silhouettes across a mulch path. Between them, square mirrors nestle like forgotten tiles, catching sunlight and tossing it like coins into the garden. The pansies here seem to bloom twice, once in the soil, once in glass. It's a scene born from contradiction. Decay paired with bloom, iron hardness with petal softness. And yet, this contrast is what makes it utterly serene. In another corner, shards of broken mirrors have been set like puzzle pieces into a bed of gravel, bordered by stones and framed by silvery lamb's ear and snapdragons. Standing nearby, vintage picture frames rise from the soil like gallery arches, hinting at stories they once held. Now they frame the beauty of petals and leaves, a living portrait constantly shifting in light and breeze. This is not just a garden edge, it's a poetic installation. If you're thinking of recreating this magical edge, there's freedom in imperfection. Don't worry about symmetry. Let rust show. Let the mirrors be weathered. Let old frames tilt slightly in the soil. It's in this raw honesty that charm grows. And remember, the beauty of this approach lies in its accessibility. These are materials anyone might find in a garage sale, a thrift store, or even their own storage shed. They ask for little, just your imagination, your hands, and the willingness to see art where others see waste. So next time you walk through a flea market or past a curbside discard, pause. What you find might not be junk at all, but the beginning of a story your garden is waiting to tell. Cheap, thrifty patio decor using upcycled trash. There's a kind of charm that cannot be bought. It comes from the gentle hum of creativity, the humble joy of resourcefulness, and the peace of transforming forgotten objects into something lovely and alive. In a quiet backyard corner or a sunlit patio, that charm takes shape, not in lavish purchases, but in upcycled magic crafted by hand and heart. In the first image, you find a corner made of crates and calm. Wooden boxes once destined for the landfill now form rustic shelving, each cubby cradling silver tin pots, mint leaves, ceramic jugs, and hopeful sprouts. A spool once wound with wire now acts as a round table, weathered, warm, and grounded. And the pots? Cracked mirrors marseaked into life, holding blooms that dance when the sun visits. On the wall, rusted wire baskets gently hug succulents, turning decay into design. Everything here whispers, beauty does not need to be new. Shift your gaze to the second scene. A pallet sofa sits between buckets and bottles, cradled by a screen of bamboo and shade. The seating is made of worn wood, softened with plump cushions and floral pillows stitched from past lives. Around it, old paint buckets proudly carry blooms, and milk jugs rest like sentinels of sustainability. Even the wind chime sings of transformation, spoons and bottle caps dangling from an old rake head, catching the breeze and the memory of their purpose. It's not just a place to rest, it's a poem made from castaways. Then finally, in the last picture, color bursts from every corner. A ladder, long retired, becomes a vertical garden. Tin cans, once dull and discarded, are painted in bright, joyful hues: red, blue, green, yellow. They hang proudly, like paper lanterns in a celebration of possibility. On the wooden table, broken tiles tell their own mosaic story, now coasters beneath mugs and morning light. The daisies bloom in repurposed tins, and geraniums peek from every edge, as if proud to be part of the tale. It's not clutter, it's curated life, lovingly assembled. Practical tip for you, the dreamer. You don't need much, just time, tenderness, and a willingness to see potential where others see waste. Start with one corner. An old can becomes a planter. A worn-out ladder becomes a garden wall. Let each piece speak. Let each touch of paint, each screw and string, be part of your story. Let your patio, however small, remind you that joy often grows from the scraps. If this video meant something to you, please know that subscribing means the world to me. You're not just supporting content, you're supporting a dream that keeps my family going. Thank you, truly. I'd also love to hear from you. What did you enjoy the most? Is there anything I could do better to keep inspiring or simply entertaining you? Your feedback helps this channel grow with heart and purpose. Let me know in the comments. I read every one.